Hello again, everyone. Let's discuss tonight's episode of NXT. The show began with a recap of NXT TakeOver 3, which emanated from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. We were then treated to No Way Jose coming out, and I was actually surprised at how over he was here. He got a really good reaction. He ended up having some people from the crowd doing the conga line with him, but then Lars Sullivan came out of nowhere and just laid him out. I mean, I'm assuming maybe they had a match or something, but it didn't happen. We then saw a promo for No Mercy with Alexa Bliss and like her cheerleader squad wearing like a cross between like Harley Quinn and Sugar Skull looking makeup. I love Alexa Bliss, but I don't know, this promo just ain't doing it for me. We then saw Johnny Gargano own his loss to Andrade Cien Almas from at TakeOver, and he was saying how we haven't seen the last of Johnny wrestling. You know, good short promo. I've been a Gargano fan for a few years, so hopefully we see him on the main roster sooner rather than later. We then got a recap of the women's title match between Asuka and Ember Moon. You know, it highlighted all the major spots, and then, you know, saw how Asuka ended up beating Ember. Then we saw Asuka doing a brief interview session with some reporters that they had backstage at TakeOver. We then saw a promo with Wolfgang and Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne was really putting over the UK brand, and how once he became the champion, he made the brand something, which I thought, you know, was a really good line. Wolfgang mentions that how, you know, even though they're tag partners tonight, he wants to have a shot at the belt. Dunne says, you know, basically, you know, slow your roll. Let's get through tonight first, then we'll figure that out. Next was a women's match between Peyton Royce and Sarah Logan. This is by far probably the best TV match that Royce and Logan have had. Not just with each other, I mean just on NXT television. The notable spots in the match, like Peyton hit Sarah with this spin kick that at first glance looked, you know, kind of rough, but it was just the way the camera panned, like in the split second, so it wasn't really as bad as I initially thought it was. Then Sarah Logan hit Peyton with this German suplex that looked really good, but then Peyton sold it really well, and it looked like she might have got dropped on her head. I don't think she did, but that's how it looked. Peyton ended up winning not long after that by hitting the perfect plex, you know, fisherman suplex into a bridge. They then recapped the Sanity and Authors of Pain tag team title match from TakeOver Brooklyn. Mostly just the finish where Killian Dane tackled one of the authors to a table while the guy was holding Nikki Cross, and then Alexander Wolf and Eric Young pinned the other one with their Sanity finisher. They then showed a brief recap video of Bobby Roode versus Drew McIntyre for the NXT heavyweight title. McIntyre hit this headbutt right into the Claymore, and like I said, I remember when I was watching it live, it looked pretty brutal. Roode seemed alright in the interview segment that aired afterwards, but they showed from a different angle the Adam Cole run-in, which I thought was really cool. They show him coming in from the crowd, and it was cool seeing that camera angle. Then there was this Bobby Roode interview segment where he's just irate and he wants to get the hell out of there. He's trying to have one of his assistants get him a car so he can get the hell out of there while the people are trying to interview him. And then out of nowhere, like Roderick Strong comes and blows him a kiss, saying he's gonna see him soon. I thought that was something short and to the point, and it covered all the bases on what a good promo should be. They then showed a recap of Aleister Black against Hideo Itami. That was probably the hardest hitting match on the card. Like, those guys just went all out. And then we saw Aleister leaving. You know, it was weird seeing him all suited up. Same thing. Interviewers were trying to interview him, and he just wasn't having any of it, and he just, walked straight out. We then got the main event of Tyler Bate and Trent Seven versus Wolfgang and Pete Dunne. I was really surprised at how over the UK guys were. They haven't exactly had a lot of exposure on the other brand. This is only Tyler Bate's third NXT appearance. It's Dunne's second, I believe, and I'm not even sure if Wolfgang or Trent Seven have been on NXT before. But all four guys got, from really good to great reactions from the crowd, especially Dunne and Tyler Bate. This was probably one of the better tag matches that NXT has had on their television. I will even go as far as saying it's probably one of the best tag team matches they've had on television this year. The notable spots in the match included Pete Dunne's joint manipulation stuff, where he just bent Trent Seven's fingers all backwards and then he stomped on him. Tyler Bate hit this exploder like that. It was kind of like a deadlift exploder, and then he held it, and then he released it. And then he did an old school style airplane spin that went on for about a good maybe 15-20 seconds. That looked really good, and the crowd really got into it. The finish came where Tyler Bate hit the Tyler driver on Pete Dunne, but Dunne had tagged in Wolfgang before he got suplexed. And while Bate was getting the pin, Wolfgang came off the top with a senton that, you know, for a big dude, that actually surprised me to how flawlessly he hit that. Dunne and Wolfgang ended up winning, and, you know, they gave each other the look before, you know, they raised, you know, their hands in victory, and maybe that's the next program that they're going to book, you know, should this UK brand get off the ground. Really good NXT show. They filmed it right before TakeOver on last Saturday. I believe the next set of tapings is tomorrow, and maybe I'll do a spoiler video. I'm not entirely sure yet. But guys, as always, please take care. Have a good night.